Low transition for her with her injury to the lower leg, and the defense there with the takeaway.
For years, the Las Vegas Aces have commanded respect and struck fear into the hearts of their opponents. They weren't just a team, they were a force, a well-oiled machine that many believed no one could stop. Every game, every possession carried the weight of that reputation. As the season progressed, the very elements that once brought awe began to fracture under pressure, exposing a raw truth about leadership, team chemistry, and ambition.
A'ja Wilson out running and the finish. Oh, feed that trailer, KP.
That's able to knock it down.
And then some help D, hand in the passing lane, and then the Aces out running.
At the heart of the storm is A'ja Wilson. A superstar by any measure, A'ja's on-court brilliance has been complemented by her willingness to speak her mind. In an interview that rocked the league, she laid bare her frustrations about the state of the team, an honesty that some praised as courageous and others dismissed as a betrayal of team spirit. A'ja's remarks were not made in a quiet moment of reflection or in the privacy of a locker room. They came out in front of cameras and an audience hungry for insight into the inner workings of a team that had once been the envy of the league. Every year we built up a narrative, the Aces, a team that simply could not be stopped, A'ja began, her tone carrying both pride and pain. I've had the privilege of playing alongside some of the greatest athletes in the league, players whose names are etched in the history books, and yet even they have their off days. But what always set us apart was the unwavering trust on the court. You knew that if you passed the ball to a certain teammate, it was going to hit the target, almost like clockwork. This trust, however, has come under fire recently. A'ja's candid admission that the locker room wasn't a sanctum of championship unity sent shockwaves across the WNBA. "We didn't have that championship locker room," she stated bluntly, a remark that resonated like a thunderclap. It wasn't just an offhand comment. It was a declaration that the bonds within the team were fraying at the seams. In the opening moments of the game, every play was scrutinized. With a quick offensive rebound snatched up by Napheesa Carlton, a name that rang out alongside A'ja's as one of the best forwards in the league, the stage was set for an intense contest. Plum, another vital cog in the Aces machine, looked to A'ja for the next move, setting up a long-range shot from the top of the key. Their longtime camaraderie, once the cornerstone of a successful partnership that even extended to a popular podcast they co-hosted, was now a reminder of what was slipping away. Moments later, A'ja made history by shattering the single-season scoring record, a milestone that should have been a celebration of her prowess on the court. "To see my name etched into history in that way is an incredible blessing," she remarked during a post-game interview. "I don't take a single moment for granted. I have to give credit to my teammates. Without them, I wouldn't have the ball in my hands. Yet there's an undeniable weight in knowing that while I'm setting records, the team around me is in turmoil." It was this duality, personal triumph shadowed by collective strife, that defined the current season. A'ja's journey had been a roller coaster, from competing at the Olympics to battling through a nagging lower leg injury, and now facing criticism from all sides. "Every morning I wake up fueled by the desire to be more than just the best player," she confided. "I want to be the best teammate, the best person, someone who inspires every young girl out there who dreams of this life." Yet the cracks in the Aces' armor weren't solely about performance. Behind the scenes, the locker room was a battleground of conflicting egos and unmet expectations. Rumors had started to swirl among fans and commentators alike. Was A'ja's unabashed honesty a symptom of deeper issues? Had her words, intended as a wake-up call, instead deepened the fissures within the team? Some argued that her remarks revealed the painful truth that even the most talented squads are not immune to internal strife. Critics were vocal. Some claimed that A'ja's words painted her as a poor leader, one who failed to protect her teammates from public embarrassment.
So, no, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be in this league long enough to play alongside some amazing players, some Hall of Fame players.
Others saw her as a trailblazer, someone brave enough to articulate what many had silently acknowledged. Imagine being a teammate and hearing your leader say, "We don't have it," in such blunt terms, one observer noted. It's a double-edged sword. It can either unite the team in a call for change or drive a deeper wedge between them. The timing of her comments could not have been worse. The Aces were still reeling from a recent elimination from the playoffs, a painful reminder that even the mightiest can fall. Adding fuel to the fire was the departure of key players. Kelsey Plum, once one of the team's brightest stars, had left in a move that shocked fans and insiders alike.
Back in Marveled at is, I've always been able to be like, well, you don't have so-and-so, well, you don't have A'ja Wilson. And it really is, it's such a special time, and just to be able to be here and witness her.
In the heat of the moment, A'ja's honest admission of the team's shortcomings served as both a rallying cry and a source of division. "We're in a tough spot," she confessed during a post-game huddle. "But I'm here to give everything I've got, and I expect every single one of you to do the same. This isn't about me being the best in the world. It's about all of us coming together to become better." Her call for unity, however, was met with uncertainty. The pressure to perform was immense, and the weight of expectation hung heavy over every practice and game. As the season wore on, the questions only grew more pressing. Was A'ja's brutal honesty an act of leadership or an inadvertent spark that deepened the internal divide? Did her desire to hold the team accountable cross a line into public shaming? "I've never felt so torn," a longtime fan admitted. On one hand, you want to admire her passion. On the other, you wonder if this is exactly what the team needed to hear. The debate wasn't confined to social media. Analysts, former players, and even respected voices from other teams weighed in, dissecting every word and every gesture. In one particularly memorable segment on our Sport Pulse, the discussion turned to the infamous phrase, "toxic locker room," a label that had quickly become synonymous with the current state of the Aces.
WNBA, but that was not the opening possession to use on a film study for defense, but that one is offensive rebound for Napheesa Collier-Carlton.
Toxic is such a loaded word, one analyst noted. It suggests that something irreparably bad is happening behind closed doors. And when a leader like A'ja admits that we don't have a championship locker room, it forces everyone to confront that possibility. The remark set off a firestorm, with fans debating whether the term was an overreaction or a harsh but honest assessment of reality. One of the more contentious debates centered on the responsibility of leadership. Some argued that as the face of the team, A'ja was solely accountable for creating the right environment. "A leader's job is to uplift the team," a former coach stated during an impassioned interview. "If you're constantly criticizing your own teammates, you're only adding to the discord." Others countered that true leadership sometimes means speaking uncomfortable truths, even if they lead to short-term pain, in order to spark long-term improvement. "It's like ripping off a bandage," another voice explained. "You hurt for a moment, but if it prevents a bigger wound down the line, it might be necessary." In the midst of all this, A'ja wasn't the only one grappling with the burden of expectations.
Plum gives it up to A'ja Wilson at the top of the key, long two. Collier picked up by Wilson. Those two have a long-time friendship. They used to have a podcast.
Other players, including those who had long been considered the backbone of the franchise, found themselves caught in the crossfire. One veteran forward, whose identity remains private, remarked, "Every loss, every mistake, it feels personal now. We're not just playing for wins, we're playing for our pride. And when the leader questions our commitment in public, it stings." This internal conflict became even more evident as tensions spilled over into practices and games, where frustration sometimes boiled over in unplanned outbursts and off-the-cuff remarks. The fallout wasn't limited to internal team dynamics. The media frenzy surrounding the Aces began to influence how games were played and perceived. Every move on the court was dissected by commentators, who couldn't help but draw parallels between on-court performance and off-court drama. When you see the players huddled together, you wonder, are they truly united or are there cracks in the foundation? One commentator pondered during a primetime broadcast, "It's a testament to how intertwined performance and chemistry really are." In this environment, every rebound, every pass was laden with symbolic meaning.
On the list, it's truly a blessing, and I have to credit my teammates because without them, I wouldn't get the basketball. But at the same time, just them continuing to pour into me, so I can pour into them. It just goes.
A chance to either mend the team's rift or widen the gap even further. Then there were the personal reflections shared by A'ja herself, which provided a glimpse into the human side of an athlete under siege. "I've been in this league long enough to understand that every player has their own battle," she said in a rare moment of vulnerability. We all carry scars, some visible, some hidden. But it's when those scars are exposed that you truly see what a team is made of. Her words resonated with many young fans, particularly those who saw in her the embodiment of resilience and determination. Yet, even as she sought to inspire, the lingering question remained. Was her vision for the team aligned with the reality on the ground?
This is an elimination game. I cannot sit down. That's looked like giving up. That looked like quitting to me. So I knew I had to come and be just who I needed to be for my team out the gate and make sure that we understood what we needed to do here at home.
It wasn't just the players who felt the strain. The very identity of the Aces, once synonymous with invincibility, was now up for debate. Longtime supporters who had cheered every win and absorbed every loss were left wondering if the golden era of the team was over. We used to talk about the Aces as a dynasty, one lifelong fan recalled. Now it feels like we're watching a team that's lost its soul. It's heartbreaking, because we know there's still so much talent there.